Hi guys, welcome back to the next edition of the M&M podcast with us, your two large and tiny hosts of the M&M variety, Morris and Masita. It's my turn to intro today, hence the reason why I'm jabbering on and AJ is waving like a madman. So yes, good morning AJ. It is morning over there for you because you decided to go on a little bit of an adventure to Miami.
Yep.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very well. Yeah, it's 7 a.m. over here. So for me, it's not like that crazy early, but
Yeah.
it's I think the neighbours in my little apartment area need to get used to me waking up at the time that I do. So I try and be really, really quiet, but the walls are like paper thin. So I'm aware that
Okay.
I've got to be like really, really quiet when I wake up, and I can't be shouting at people who have overeaten on their macros on their updates or something like
Oh
that.
no, are you going to drop some naughty names in?
No, I won't in this episode.
Ah,
But
thought you were just about to as well, then. I was getting excited.
um, but as the year goes on, I may well open up and drop people in the shit when they when they don't adhere.
Right, so that's what it is, Team MBM, right? If you do not adhere to the macros set by your coach, that's it. You are getting a huge shout out on the M&M podcast, and that's not
Mm,
going to be a good thing.
yeah, you get fully dropped into it.
That's it. Right. So today we have decided to talk about staying on track whilst traveling
Mm,
because of the simple fact that obviously AJ is traveling now. I travel all over the country to visit different gyms and different clients and have various meetings. So we thought it would be really, really good in order to give some top pro tips
mm,
on how we're staying on track. But that's going to be the subject of today. So if you guys are listening on Instagram and things like that, then obviously shoot across your questions as well. And whatever we don't cover in this one, we can obviously just reply to you as well.
yeah.
But first of all, how's your week gone so far, AJ? You know, it is an update. So let's see how your off season or improvement season or whatever kind of season you want to call it is
Yeah.
going so far.
Yeah, sure. So, I before I left, it was had about because I left on Tuesday, so I had a good few days at home. All of my sessions since the last update have been very, very good. Like even the ones that I've had out here. I think that it's been a long time since I had 2 rest days in a row. I had 2 rest days, one before I flew out and one the day that I flew out. Obviously, because the travel involved to get here was like the whole day. It's like a 15-hour travel day, so that kind of
Crazy.
wiped me out a little bit. It's funny how you can get so tired from just sitting still, but
Mm.
I like moving, so my least favorite thing to do is sit in a plane seat and watch movies. I hate it. So I managed to sort of just spew my mind on a notepad for the majority of the flight, and I read 2 books. So
Amazing.
I like reading though. I must admit that keeping me in one place for like that flight allows me to read a book, which is something I wouldn't do any other time. So that was good. So like I
Good.
said, training wise going well. Sort of calories wise, sort of very similar position to where I was sort of in the last update. Hit some body weight PRs, and
Amazing.
then when I travelled, I lost like 3.5, 4 pounds because I
Water,
just
glycogen.
yeah, just I basically I didn't want to hit my usual macros and like super high carb, low fat on that day because it just makes no sense. I didn't need to pummel myself with carbohydrates whilst I was just sitting in a plane. And I didn't
Mm.
know what my plans were going to be the next day. So I didn't know fully whether I was going to, well, I knew I was going to find a gym, but I didn't know fully whether I was going to get to train and what I was going to feel like and whether I was going to be fatigued. So I didn't drop my calories aggressively, but I just basically did a protein fat day and then had carbohydrates in my last meal, which is how I usually do a rest day if I'm feeling like I need to do that.
Mhm.
But I auto regulate when I sort of do those higher fat, lower carb rest days. I don't always do them. It's not something I always do. So yeah, my averages in terms of body weight are fairly similar, which is kind of what I wanted to do over the past like 3 4 weeks. Is just sort of roughly hold around the same mark for a little time period just to own this body weight a little bit more because
Uh-huh.
my initial push up 10 pounds above stage weight, um So I'm around about 158 at the moment for people that care. My stage weight was 148. And so that initial £10 increase, it looked shit in my opinion when I initially got there, but holding it for a good 2.5-3 weeks, but still making progressions in the gym and eating enough, has allowed me to actually just basically recomp this body weight a little bit, which is kind of what I wanted to do, but I've kind of just done that by accident, if you get what I mean. Because
Sure,
I'd have
yeah.
happily gained more weight if I wanted to, but I've kind of just
Yeah.
done it by accident. So that kind of worked well. And then,
Are
yeah,
you still tracking your intake with everything? Because you said that you
what's on
stepped
here?
away from MyFitnessPal a little bit. So are you just
Yeah,
kind of
I
going,
did. When did I say that? I think that was just before Christmas. I was just stepping
yeah,
away, because I had a load of other things going on that I needed to concentrate and put my attentions on. But then I came back and I'm actually, I've been tracking like the whole time really, and I'll be
okay,
tracking whilst I'm here.
cool.
The first few days whilst I was here, I, I I didn't plug everything into my macros, which I'm using now instead of my MyFitnessPal, which I actually enjoy. So I'm using
Yeah,
my macros
s-
plus.
speak to us about that. Why did you decide to move from MyFitnessPal to My Macros Plus? Because that's a paid for app, isn't it, as
Yeah,
well?
yeah, it is. Yeah, a
And
little
is
bit.
is there a particular reason why you swapped over to that? I've had a couple of questions come through about MyFitnessPal and various other tracking
Mm,
apps, so it's actually quite interesting for me to realize why you wanted to go onto My Macros.
yeah, sure. So basically, the layout and the structure of my macros plus allows you to see in depth a little bit more clearer each meal, which I
Yeah,
think is
correct. Yeah.
beneficial because when you're trying to structure a really optimal sort of split of macros throughout meal to meal,
Yeah.
with my MyFitnessPal, you have to turn it sideways. You have to click on the
And you have to
certain
pay for
meal,
it as well. You've got to
and
pay for the premium thing, don't you?
the ads were really, really, really fucking me off because I
Yeah.
tried to input something and then it would take you to like somewhere else, and then it would actually take you away from the app, and then you'd have
Mm,
to shut off the what you were doing and go back into the app, and it was really annoying me. And ever since Worlds, I started following Katie Ann. Do you know Katie Ann?
yep, yep, yep.
And she was basically blabbing on about my macros plus, because she works on the automated coaching side of the app, because it actually
Oh,
has
okay.
you when you pay for it, you can click on my coach, and it will like
Mm,
it's basically like avatar nutrition. So it'll change your macros on a weekly basis. But what is really cool is every single week, even, you don't have to use the coach bit for this, but every single week they send you a like an update, and it's
mhm.
in an email, and it just wraps up your entire week, so you can track your weigh-ins on it. You can obviously, when you track your calories, it gives you like the average calories for the week. It also gives you like the top foods that you've eaten, which is quite
Nice.
cool. So obviously mine was like oats, oats,
Yeah.
oats, 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 um, potatoes,
Yeah, yeah. Anabolic
and
chippies.
yeah. So I've been really enjoying that app. I have,
Good.
and I think I'll continue to use it. What
Okay.
else is good about the app? Uh, the database is tighter than MyFitnessPal. It's
Yeah.
smaller but tighter. With MyFitnessPal, you have so much crap on there that people have inputted. Like you search banana, and then someone's put in like a banana that's like 4 carb. Um,
Yeah.
you got to be really careful with that, guys. So like, I have clients that are like, I've been hitting my numbers, but something just doesn't like, feel right. And then I'm like, recheck your logs, like really, really check your logs. And then they're like, oh, this is not what it says on the packet. You've got to
Mm,
when you first input foods. Obviously, if you're eating the same thing every day, from then you can chill out. But when you first input foods, you look at the label, then you look at MyFitnessPal.
yeah.
That's why sometimes it's more accurate just to track your macros by just labels, because
Yeah.
obviously it's so much more accurate to do that, rather than
That's it.
trusting the app all the time. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Like training really, really good. Nutrition obviously cool as it usually is,
Good.
and yeah, just looking forward to, obviously, like the gyms out here are wicked. So whilst I still do my main movements, I've swapped some movements for like stuff, just to try out different bits of kit. Um,
Sure.
Tried out like a free motion squat yesterday. My quads are in fucking bits today.
Nice.
The tension on that machine, you'd love it.
Yeah.
Was epic, and it's so funny the way there are some of them in UK gyms, but very few. You have to. It's like a bicycle brake to
Right.
unlock it, and then you have to get. The thing is, you have to get into the bottom position to unlock it, and then start. So you unlock the bicycle handle, squat down, unlock it, and then you're basically starting with a dead weight to get it going. So it's
Shit.
really, yeah, when you go heavy, you couldn't really go that heavy on it because you have
No,
to
I was gonna
start
say.
from the bottom of the hole and get it up. It's like a dead squat.
Tell you what though, that's a good exercise variation to get your squat up, is basically start from the bottom up, isn't it?
Fuck
So
yeah,
that would
yeah,
be really,
or
really
tear
good.
your adductor.
Yeah.
Either or.
Yeah, that's it. But it'd be really good. It's nice to know a little bit more about exercise variation. I think we should do that on the next podcast update, was exercise variation.
Yeah,
So
how you can change things and stuff, and yeah, I think people, my clients are absolute craze for it. I know that they love sort of being right, and they want to like make sure everything's perfect, which is amazing. That's the best thing to be. But sometimes they'll ask me a question about like exercise variation. Can I change this for this? And in reality, I really would like it if they could just sort of think and be like, this is very similar to that. I'm sure AJ will be fine with that.
yeah, yeah.
But like checking is amazing that they do
I
check,
was going to
but
say, to be honest, that's still a really good thing because
it
it means that
is.
they see you
It
as
really
God.
is. And I
Don't they?
don't want
Yeah.
any of them that are listening to think, oh shit, I shouldn't check. No. But
Yeah, please check.
but at the same time, like for like movements are very similar. Our goal
Yeah.
is usually to obviously progress in a similar pattern, so using very similar movements.
Mm,
But in a sense, if you're in a new gym, you're in a new environment, you see a bit of kit that's pretty similar, go and fucking try it.
yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna bite your balls off for doing that.
Mm. Even if you want to just do like two sets or something, just to feel the movement and kind of go,
Try
oh,
it
that's a cool
out.
machine.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I love doing that, when there's
You
a new
might find a
machine kind of
gem as
somewhere.
well.
Yeah, exactly as well. You might feel that, like one of my friends, everybody knows the vegan dream, Jack Stanya.
Yep.
We go and
Big
have some
Jack.
training sessions. Big Jack, Big Jack, Big Jack.
He's bigger than
Um,
me at the moment. He's got more gains than I
that's
have.
it, he really does. And he's a vegan. So people who say that you can't gain weight as a vegan, bullshit, man.
Yeah.
You can
The
gain
anabolic vegan rebound. He needs to
the
make an ebook on
anabolic
that.
vegan. That's it. I think we're just going to change him that. Instead of the vegan dream, the anabolic vegan. Jack, if you're listening, which I know you are, love you, dude.
No, he's a very,
Anyway,
very
moving
good lad.
swiftly
He
on.
is.
So we obviously have a few days together training, and he always told me that he never got DOMs from training legs. So I
Yeah.
put him through a Tiny Titan training session, and I said, mate, if you do not have DOMs tomorrow, I'm going to call you a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so he did have DOMs the following day, but
He was doing
it was
too much volume. That was the issue. Just not
Mate,
enough
I'm not
intensity.
kidding. He literally just desensitized himself to all of his training because he was doing that much volume. Nothing was causing an impact. So when I brought things down and I was like, right, you're going to be doing 4 to 6 reps, fucking heavy,
Yeah.
and just do
Yeah.
things like we did 3 sets of walking lunges with a heavy barbell on our back, wide lunges. And then after that, just a simple thing like a step up, that connection into all of it, we were crying. It was a
Yeah.
hardcore leg session.
This is the thing though, like I put up a video yesterday about getting greedy with upper lower splits. But you can get greedy with anything. You can get greedy on any split. And guys, we're not endurance athletes. You're not meant to go in and spend 2 to 3 hours just fucking pummeling away at yourself doing volume.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I'm the same as Jack. Like I've been there, done that. When I was in the US, I fucking desensitized myself to so much because I was
Yeah.
I was training twice a day, and I was exactly like Jack. I was not getting sore, and I was like, how the fuck am I recovering from this volume? And I was basically just because I was weak as fuck. I was not doing
Mhm.
anything properly. I was training with relative intensity, but with low load, really low
Yeah.
weight, and not obviously progressing.
Mm.
and that's why you can recover from that. So essentially, like you don't need DOMs to make progress, but they're a good sign that you're actually adapting to something. Your body's trying to force an adaptation. You will have periods of training where you're probably not that sore, and that's good because obviously you can you can make progress. But you do need like days like today where I got out of bed and I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
everything hurts. And that's cool because then you take your rest, you recover, and you adapt and grow. Like that's the goal. So yeah, that's an interesting chat, but good that we covered that. I think actually, because I think there's so many people out there that I look at their training and I'm like, the reason why you're not making progress and you're not happy is because you're doing too much.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
asking
Grinding
yourself of
yourself
too
down
much.
into the ground by doing like 600 lat pull downs in a session,
Yeah,
Jack. But anyway, moving moving on
yeah.
from that again. Love you, anabolic vegan.
Yeah.
Right. So moving swiftly on from that one. Okay, so having a look at your how you're keeping on track. So you're obviously
What
using my
about your
macros.
week as well, actually? We kind of covered how I'm keeping on track a little bit. What about your week?
Yeah,
Let's see how
really.
your week, yeah.
Okay.
What's your week been like?
So exciting news on my week.
Mm-hmm.
I am now 4 weeks post boobs. So
Mm-hmm.
really excited that I have managed. Did you see that little grin on AJ's face then when I said post boobs? Right, everybody, you now need to watch this on YouTube because he literally did have a really cheesy grin with his tongue in between his teeth. Now I feel I'm really loved. Anyway, moving swiftly. Right, so yes, 4 weeks post boobs, and I did my first back session, like actual back session. So I'm talking heavy deadlifts, some rows, dead stop T-bar rows, and things like that.
Yeah.
Which top
No,
tip for
good.
girls who are having breast implants or a breast augmentation. If you are going to do a bent over T-bar row, remember that you have additions on your chest
Yeah,
because
smashing
I
the grip
oh
into your
yes,
chest.
yeah. I was only using a small plate because it was the first time that I was going to load my back and do those pulling movements, which of course does stretch your chest a little bit, so you've got to be a bit more careful.
Yeah, sure.
So I only actually used a 15-kilo plate on my T-bar, and the fact is that I could really get a high contraction with those plates on previous to boobs. Now that I have boobs, I just have to kind of move my position a little bit, should I say, because that first rep I brought it up and I was like, oh,
Bang.
holy shit, didn't realize that they were there. So yeah, so you kind of forget. So but anyway, so I managed to do a really, really good back session. Still can't do
Sweet.
any lat pull downs.
Okay.
So it's all kind of rows from a standing position. It's all kind of like a horizontal pull rather than a vertical pull. So, but really happy with that. Got my deadlifts up to 90 kilos for 4 sets of 6, which I was really pleased about.
Okay.
And my form was excellent on them, and I got good contractions. Rack pulls are up again to like 100 kilos for 5x5s. So again, I'm getting some good volume in there. So training actually this week has been really, really, really good. Sleep, on the other hand, has been shit. Again, I've just have this problem with sleep, and I don't know what it is. But I'm kind of trying out various different things. Beforehand, when I used to have this problem with sleep, I used to literally have 50 grams of banana and hot almond milk, or like lukewarm almond milk, before I went to bed. And it's actually like a natural herbal remedy that just knocks you straight out and keeps you asleep. Because my problem isn't falling asleep; it's actually staying asleep. So that's one of my major issues. So I think I might try and manipulate my macros a little bit of an evening meal to incorporate that milk and banana just tonight to see if I can do it. And everybody's going to think this is kind of hippie woo-woo shit. It's not.
No, if it works, it works.
That's it. I think it's something, there was studies done on it about this banana and milk trick. And every time a client of mine has problem with sleep, I do actually always suggest it. And every single time it works. And it's some kind of correlation between the potassium in the banana and the magnesium from the almond milk that has this chemical reaction that almost releases a bit more melatonin naturally. That's that's what kind of keeps you asleep. So if any of you have trouble with sleep, just try that. Half a banana basically, and 200 to 300 mils of unsweetened almond milk, just heated up a little bit, and see if that works. But yeah, other than that, calories have been on point. I've swapped around my calories, as you know. So I'm on just over 2,600 on a training day now, and I don't have as many carbohydrates on a non-training day, which was odd at first because my fats have now gone up to 80 grams, which is a lot in my consideration. I've never gone that high before, so I was kind of like, shit, what am I gonna?
It's kind of nice though to have that open that one day with a bit of variation though, isn't it? Because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, now I can have salmon rather than the whole week of spending like trying to hit low fat, high carb. And you're like, I can't have these things like dark chocolate, or I can have only a little bit. I can have only a little bit of peanut butter, and then you get that day where carbohydrates are lower, so your trace fats are lower, and you've got more fats in general. It's like, wow, what the fuck are these foods?
Yeah, it's crazy. It is
Yeah,
crazy. I am enjoying salmon again, definitely. And cheese, really like cheese.
yeah, cheese is
Um,
good.
cheese is life, man. So I'm putting that on and I'm using quite a lot. So I did actually have one of my meals on that day where I had egg whites, and broccoli and various other bits like that with veggies, and I had cheese on over the top. And I actually had people message me on Instagram saying, "Why are you just having egg whites?" And all this. I was like, "Because, dude, cheese."
Cheese is better than an egg yolk.
Yeah, I have eggs, like whole eggs, all the way through the week,
Yeah,
but cheese is life. So
yeah.
I get one day where I get to just omit the egg yolk and just have a crap load of cheese.
Getting
Brilliant.
the cheese, yeah, wicked.
Get in the cheese. So yeah, so that's basically been my week. I've been splitting it up, so it's been really, really nice to kind of have like 2 leg days, a back day, and then an arms day.
Yeah, sweet.
Um, Obviously still not training chest just yet and not training shoulders. But I tell you what, another thing, no, I won't discuss that this one. I'll do that next time. Just people kind of asking me, why am I training so early post surgery, sorry. But I
Okay.
will I will do a vlog about that because I've spoken to like 4 different girls now who have all contacted me saying, how the hell can you train like that 4 weeks after surgery? And it's
Mm.
like, I've been training 2 weeks after surgery. I don't understand why you guys are not back in the gym training and you're getting pissed off because you're putting on weight. And I know this is obviously not exactly the same as staying on track whilst you're away, but staying on track post surgery whilst recovering, why the hell are you letting your diets go to pot?
You
And
wouldn't
your
let your
nutrition?
diet go to pop if you had a rest day, would you? Like, come on,
No.
have some mental fortitude.
I mean, it's
Especially these people that if especially if you've competed, like you've had the mental fortitude to see through the diet for competing.
yeah,
Like this is a big thing. Like people just see like the off season or any period where they're not competing as like a free for all, or just like the level of dedication has to be completely switched off. Yes, there's a dimmer switch, but like the people that make the most progress are the ones that like treat the off season as like the prep
prep.
before the contest. Yeah, treat it like prep. To be honest, like if you prep in a balanced manner, then you should be able to transition into your off season with a really good mindset to still be on it. Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't be sky high above your stage weight. And like me and you have proved that we're still in big shooting distance of our stage weights, and we're strong as fuck, and we're
Yeah.
feeling good.
Mm,
The only issue your end is sleep, but that's not really
yeah.
relative to low body fat. It's more relative to just generally sleep has been an issue for you.
Exactly.
It'd
Yeah.
be an issue for you if you were 30 pounds above stage weight. And guess how you'd feel at that point. I bet your sleep would be even worse at that point.
Probably.
Because
Probably.
your stress levels would be incredibly high and your inflammation would be high, and you'd feel horrible about yourself, and that wouldn't
Yeah.
help sleep at all.
No.
So yeah, I think that hopefully people, because we even said it when we were prepping, like both in still in prep, we were both like, when we finish this, we're gonna show to the you listeners that you can transition out of a show and be sensible and stay on track and
Mm.
not be a blob.
Yeah,
Basically,
and make progress at the same
I think
time.
we've actually proved that quite nicely, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think so because, like, how many pounds are you above stage right now?
10,
10, and you're 12 weeks post show.
9.
9.
But to be
So,
fair, I was 10 up 4 weeks post, 5 weeks post show, and then I've just sort of like retained that, and my
yeah,
calories have only gone up. So this is exactly where I wanted to be. I could quite
good.
easily be 20 above and have done like the whole recovery diet thing, which a few people have done. So I've noticed like Alberto Nunez, he's like 20 above. And he finished his show similar time period to me. There's a few people that he coached that are like sort of 20 above. It's funny, there's a few people that tried to, in the first few weeks, reverse like the most optimal reverse ever. And they were slowly eking calories up, and then they were posting updates like, oh, I'm 2 pounds up, 3 pounds up. And now they fucked it up. And
Yeah,
now they're like 25 above. There's a balance, and I think I nailed it this time, which I'm really happy with. There's a balance
yeah,
between reversing nice and slowly and getting your calories up, slash bringing them up quick enough for you to feel okay, so that you don't have multiple binges. Because when you start binging, it's like a downward slippery slope.
oh, you just can't stop,
And
just
then
can't stop.
once you fucked it, you fucked it.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's
yeah,
the difference. If you keep on doing things like, 50 calories a week,
you're
10
gonna
grams of
go
carbs,
insane.
3 grams of
You're
fat,
gonna go insane.
it's far too much. It's far too slow. Like you just said, AJ, you're going to drive yourself insane. It's going to lead you to binges. You are going to be too restrictive. So I think, like you said, I don't like the quote unquote recovery diet, which seems really stupid because obviously you want to recover. So that's the reason why they called it that as well. I think that the calling it the recovery diet is a really good marketing thing.
Yeah.
But that's in my personal view. I don't like the reverse diet, the traditional, the very, very first reverse diet, which is what we just talked about, like the 10 grams of carbs every week and that kind of thing, because I just think that's pointless. And you're not going to be brilliant unless you have got the most stupidest mindset that you can control everything. But I think a happy medium, like you said, so not going too high, too fast, and just doing it generally well, so you get your hormone levels back, so your digestion's a bit better, without all of the fiber supplements, and your sleep is a bit better, and you're not as food focused as well for too long. I was 102, between 102 and 104 pounds on stage, carved up, and I'm 110 pounds exactly this morning.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
and I'm like what, 16 weeks post show,
And you look wicked as well, and you
and I
don't
had
look shit at
surgery
that body weight.
yeah, and I've had surgery in between that time. I still have striations through my shoulders, certainly not as much as I was on stage, but I do still have visible striations.
Yeah.
Exactly. I do still have visible abs. I was in the bathroom the other day and just brushing my teeth, and my husband came in and said, your ass looks good today. So I'm kind of glad that the gains are going to my ass, because that is what's optimal. So yeah, there's no need to just kind of binge. If you're like 10, 12, 14 weeks over show, or past show date now, and you're 40 pounds over stage weight, you're gonna have to do something about it, guys, I'm afraid, to be in an optimal position. Okay, so again, it's all about what you want, what you're striving for. If you're not going to be on stage for another 3 years, then okay, great, but you still want to be in a good position in order to gain lean muscle mass, rather than have a too big a ratio of body fat. So that's our 2 cents worth. So if you are going to be off stage or post contest or having surgery, it's important to be up to maintenance calories, if not a little bit above, recovering from surgery, and especially looking at getting your protein in at 1.5 grams per pound of body weight is what I suggest, to promote healing for healthy tissues. But if you just kind of go, oh no, I've had surgery and I'm not going to do anything because the surgeon said I can't do anything for 6 to 8 weeks, and I'm just going to sit here and binge and be like a blob and have cookies and ice cream, and but it's Halo Top, so it's healthy ice cream.
Oh, Christ.
And I can have avocado because it's a good fat, and things like that, then, have another think coming, guys, because you are going to sit there and you are going to text me later on Instagram and say, oh, holy Christ, I've put on half a stone. And how have you not put on any weight? And it's because I don't let my nutrition go to piss.
Yeah.
So, you're right. That's my top tip and a little bit of a rant. So
Yeah.
I
mean, we can be nice all day about it, but at the end of the day, like, everyone's in control of what they put in their own mouth, and you can say, "Oh, well, I just couldn't stop" or anything like that. You're not 5 years old. You make the decision as to when you sit down at the dinner table and what you eat. Like, you make that decision. It's conscious. And when most people, I think, that really fuck up are the people that start eating subconsciously, and they just don't even have a reason for what they're eating anymore. They just literally start putting in calories, and they don't even think about it. Like, I think that the best sign is that you're still really enjoying everything that you eat. Like, the minute where you start to like get this relationship with food where you're just like eating it purely for like just the guilt aspect, or you start like literally losing your appetite. Like, I've seen people who are very, very, very sort of quite still recently competed, so they're within that sort of 6 to 8 week mark, and they're like appetite gone. That's probably not a good sign, to be honest. I think that you should retain an appetite for the most part. The appetite side of things is very individual based, but I think at the end of a gaining phase, you may see some appetite loss. But for the most part, you should still be looking forward to your meals. And that's I think that's one of the enjoyable things of a gaining phase is you get a bit more calories, you start feeling really, really good again, and you got plenty of energy for training, and you're still looking forward to eating. Because I can remember what it was like when I was at the end of my gaining phase and I didn't have an appetite, and I was probably overshot. I was too heavy, and all I was eating was just granola as much as I could, and I hated it. I wasn't digesting anything properly, and I'd take being a little bit hungry any day over that, any day, because I really hated food, and I don't want to ever be in a position where I hate food, because I like food.
Exactly. We love food.
And so that's, I think, where we should probably leave things for today, and wrap things up, and let you get on with your training and your eating, and obviously, guys, like we always say, if you do have questions that you want us to cover in any future episode, if you have sort of smaller questions, we can definitely cover multiple questions in an episode. But if you have sort of a big topic you want us to cover, then just comment below in the YouTube section, or again, like we always say, DM us on Instagram. We'll be happy to answer any sort of short questions on there, or cover them in the podcast. Should we do our normal image for people to grab if they're on YouTube? So if you're on YouTube, get ready to screenshot and then put it on your IG story. So 3, 2, 1. Cool. Chrissy,
perfect, love it.
Chrissy, is definitely going to do that. But that's it for this episode. And
just before we leave, I just want to put out there that I am going to be running a #anabolic chippy competition.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Which is very, very exciting. But you have to be following my Titan Coaching Instagram account in order to do that. I'm trying to kind of veer myself away from anything like, personal wise and business wise. So you have to be following the Titan Coaching Instagram account in order to get in with the Anabolic Chippy competition. Wow. So I will announce all of the things basically, but you basically just have to take pictures of your process of making anabolic chippies, #anabolic chippies, and tag Titan Coaching in it. And the one who has the best story with all of the tags on it will receive a Titan Coaching #anabolic chippy maker hoodie that I will personalize for them. So make sure that it's going to be quite good, actually. I've got the images and everything. It's absolutely incredible.
I want one of those.
Just to have #anabolic chippy maker on there. But so there you go, guys. So follow us on there, and we will catch up with you next week again from Miami again, I think, with you, AJ, and then the following week you're in LA.
I'm actually going to LA on Tuesday, so I'll probably be in LA by then.
All right, nice one. So we'll catch up from another part of the States then.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Take care, guys.
See you later, guys. Bye.
See you. Bye.